Welcome to Weekend Review on AYV Channel 33 and on our Facebook page, AYV News. I am Thomas Umar. In this program, we delve into the week's major stories, providing insightful analysis and discussion. We often feature a range of topics, from politics and social issues to culture and global events, ensuring a comprehensive look at the news that matters. Well, our guests include journalists, civil society activists, and experts who offer diverse perspectives and in-depth commentary. Joining us in the studio today is Daniel Pewa, a civil society activist who will help us critically examine the key events that have shaped the news this week. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Mr. Suma. Good morning, viewers and listeners.
Okay.
Thanks to be here.
Yeah, you're welcome. So we start off with Sierra Leone's Information Minister, Leone, has said that the Dutch government had extended an extradition request to the government of Sierra Leone concerning the alleged drug baron Jos Leijdekkers. Leone said Thursday that the Dutch authorities have delivered sealed documents of the extradition order to the Sierra Leone embassies in Ghana and Brussels, which were addressed to the Attorney General and Minister of Foreign Affairs. This is a report by our reporter, Memunatu Soma.
The search for the alleged Dutch drug baron, Jos Leijdekkers, who is reported to be living in Sierra Leone, has taken a new turn as the Dutch government has submitted an extradition document to Sierra Leone's Minister of Justice and Attorney General last week.
On Thursday, the Dutch government sent representatives and two of the embassies. They go to Brussels and they go to Accra.
On Thursday last week, the Dutch government sent representatives to our embassies in Ghana, Accra. They requested a courtesy meeting, which was scheduled the following day, Friday, as the Attorney General was awaiting their arrival. Our ambassador in both countries agreed to meet with the Dutch representatives, during which they handed over documents and files addressed to the Attorney General, the Minister of Justice, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs. In the case of Ghana, just 10 minutes after the meeting, the Dutch Minister of Justice tweeted that they had served Sierra Leone with an extradition letter even before the documents had arrived in Sierra Leone or been delivered to the Attorney General. By the weekend, the document reached Sierra Leone, and the Attorney General received them on Monday. In accordance with the law, the Attorney General will now examine the documents and, based on his review, will study the case and advise on the next steps.
So here's a update. Saludo received a copy of this document. The Attorney General, as per law, now they examine the documents. And based on the examination, we'll study these documents and will advise exactly on next steps.
Sierra Leone's 1974 Extradition Act outlines the legal framework for extraditing individuals accused of crimes committed in other countries. The law allows the Sierra Leonean government to surrender a fugitive to a requesting state if they meet specific criteria, particularly if the offense being considered is a crime in both jurisdictions.
When we make an application to the courts, the individual or individuals who they want for pull for extradite.
When an application is made to the court, the individual subject to the extradition request has the right to hire legal representation to argue their case. The judge will hear all sides and examine the evidence presented. Ultimately, it is only the judge who can grant or deny the request for extradition.
Only after the judge grants that request, then the government may enforce the handover.
Last week, the Inspector General of Police informed the Sierra Leonean public that an open source investigation was underway for Mr. Leijdekkers, whom law enforcers have described as Omar Sharif. There is a cloud of rumor amid widespread anxiety that Omar Sharif, the alleged drug baron, may have escaped the territories of Sierra Leone, although that has not been confirmed.
The government of Sierra Leone does not conduct its business by social media and by flamboyant headlines. We do not at this moment. We were very clear. To conduct a manhunt is an extraordinary threshold. The investigation we are conducting is not yet at the level of conducting a manhunt.
In a separate update, the Information Minister announced that after diplomatic engagement, a memorandum of understanding has been struck between Sierra Leone and Guinea for joint judicial investigations regarding the 7 suitcases of cocaine that were discovered in a Sierra Leone embassy vehicle at the Guinean border. The Sierra Leone ambassador to Guinea has been finally recalled to Sierra Leone to provide an update on this matter. AYV will continue to bring you developments on this story as new facts unfold. Leone Tosuma, AYV News, Freetown.
Well, thanks to Memuna Tusuma for bringing us that report. Mr. Pewa, you have seen the report, and then you have been following developments regarding Jos Leijdekkers situation here in Sierra Leone and Sierra Leone versus the Netherlands, Holland. What are your thoughts based on what has been unfolding?
Thank you very much once more for the privilege. Of course, it has been very topical that this drug baron, since the news broke out a few weeks ago, Sierra Leoneans, we are very interested, into the matter. But what is more clear here, according to the minister himself, you see, the world at large is a global village, and therefore we are part of a lot of treaties and other organizations. I think at this moment, based on the report itself, we the citizens took this, into another context. But in the diplomatic world or in the diplomatic scene, issues like this are based on, international, treaties or statutes, if you like. Okay. So again, it is not a matter of taking this personality back to, his country of origin. It is following, protocols, international, best practices when you talk about diplomacy or international relations. Again, the minister did say that in the 1974, extradition act, it is clear that the country filing for extradition for its citizen or any person who may have committed a crime on that soil, there are procedures you follow, and those procedures is not just a matter of you writing to the state and the state hands over the individual in question or the perpetrated or alleged criminal. The person in question have the right to file, to a judge, and it is the judge in that country where the individual that is wanted resides will now determine whether they should give countenance to the requesting country as to, bringing that individual back to their country. But again, I am sitting here as an individual. I'm not the government's mouthpiece. Neither am I talking, based on speculation. You see, as Sierra Leoneans, when this news came into the fore of the public, we were very, like I did say, we were very, agitated. People were, and when you look at it, it is as if people are more interested in the negatives as against the country. For me, I want to have the belief that no sane person, no right-thinking person, no, patriotic Sierra Leonean will want to see his country or citizen, we want to see his country being, portrayed in a gloomy picture when you talk about international, scene. No citizen will want to see his country being used as an enclave or a safe haven for drugs, because already we've seen the ramifications, the effects of the push which is another hard drug, on our youth, and even some, elderly people. So again, if we want to reshape the future of this country and by extension its citizens, the future citizens, the youth, the future leaders, who are the youth, and even those that are coming after us, I think we owe this sacred responsibility of protecting and reshaping, their future and by extension the country itself. How do we clean the system? How do we ensure that the country's image, because the president, when he came to power during his first, term, he did say that he is poised in rebranding, reshaping, and cleaning the image of this country at international level. He did also make mention of the fact that he will want to see a Sierra Leone that is free of lawlessness, violence, corruption, and so many other, vices in society or menace in society. So for me, I think the government, like I was, of course, you heard from your reporter, there are procedures and processes. Initially, everybody wanted to see this Leijdekker. Everybody wants this individual to be sent back to Holland. But it is not like that. Because he himself has his own human rights. And that's right. In as much as, he is a foreigner, he is on a different soil, we have our own laws, but we are also mindful of his rights. Again, we are also mindful of international protocols, diplomacy, international relations. So we cannot just, if the individual is there, I'm just speculating. If he is there, we cannot just go and unpick him, put him on board the plane, and then send him back to where he's coming from, or the country that is requesting his extradition. But again, as citizens, how do we make sure that we correct the odds? The global picture is clean, so that at the end of the day, because it doesn't matter where you stand when we talk about the political divide. It doesn't matter where your interest lies. All the speculations, whether it is true, whether it is the opposite of truth, whether the individual is here or is not here. In as much as we want to see a clean Sierra Leone, both internally and internationally, in as much as we are mindful of our citizens also, who are residing in the diaspora, who travels on a daily basis, either for medical purpose, educational purpose, economic purpose, or otherwise. We need to ensure that when they are traveling, they are given the respect. And that is why sometimes I see those giants, those countries that are economically, or otherwise, very, very buoyant. I see them using, well, I will not say minor states, but the less, economically and powerful states as they are astute that they want to use us within their whims and caprices as and when they want. Sierra Leone as a sovereign state is governed by laws, and the rights that each and every other country has at the international scene is the same country, irrespective of our economy, our military strength. We are still having the same position or image, so to speak, at the international scene. So again, we should be respected. It is not like you coming to bully, because I will see this as a bully. Because before now, there were extradition requests to this same country, through the normal channels, like they have done. I don't think our request was countenanced or given the attention it deserves. But again, I am not justifying this man being denied or this country being denied to send, because already the European Union is interested in this. And like I initially stated, we want to see a clean Sierra Leone, a Sierra Leone where its citizens, when they are traveling, they are given the utmost respect, based on the fact that when they see our passport, they should not be having that kind of ill thoughts about us. So the state actors have the responsibility to do the needful, to either send this man or go through the processes and ensure that these rifts or this diplomatic strain between the two countries, is sanitary.
Okay. As you rightly said, the president had been have since assuming power have been trying to clean the image of the country, and as you also put it, when this issue came up, we have seen citizens raising issues, especially on the negative side of the entire discussion. So all of this is somehow sending the country backwards in terms of cleaning the image of the country. So there are concerns that the way the country is handling the issue of Leijdekkers is like the country is trivializing the issue. We are not treating the issue much more seriously, and some people think this is because this person in discussion has been found in the company of the first family. We have seen pictures where he is among top government officials and all of that. So to see that this person is somebody who is wanted outside Sierra Leone, people have raised security concerns, how this person come in contact with the first family and all of that. Using the law, as the minister says, they have to follow procedures and all of that. People are concerned. Is this not a way of trivializing this whole issue as serious as it seems?
Well, this is a very sensitive issue. Yeah. It hinges, like you did say, it hinges on security and the reputation of the state itself. Yeah. As alleged, we've seen pictures. I, as Daniel S. Pewa, cannot verify the veracity or to state that categorically clear that this individual in question is this, even though it has been proven by the Dutch. And what is more concerning, when the police... And
Sierra Leone has not denied.
When the police held their press release, press conference, the issue, of course, the journalists were there. A press release was issued. And upon the issuance of the press release, the citizens were taken aback that this name can be affixed to this picture in opposite of the name that we initially knew for this picture. But again, you made mention of the fact that the individual in question was seen with the first family and sometimes in the company of state officials, which is also concerning. Yeah. I think as a government and as a people, we have a responsibility. And the responsibility, most especially so, seeking the interest of the greater population. I could remember when the COVID broke out, there was one state, I think Australia, there was this, an internationally acclaimed sporting personality, one of the tennis players, I have forgotten his name. He was supposed to take the jab or the COVID vaccine. He did not. So it was established that in as much as you are, an icon or a celebrity, but we cannot jeopardize, we cannot mortgage the interest of the citizens, because if you are refusing to take the vaccine, it means there is a proclivity for you to infest another person. So because the interest of the public supersedes that of an individual interest, we will have to drive you off from the soils of Australia. So again, in our own context, because the president and his government are poised in cleaning and rebranding the image of this country, internationally and internally, let's see how best we will be able to put efforts, when I say bold and audacious efforts, in making sure that this individual, if and only if he is on the soils of Sierra Leone, we cannot mortgage the future. They have the responsibility to send him. That is one. Number two, the initial press release that came out from the Ministry of Information and Civic Education did state that during the festivities, the president and the first family hobnobs or interacted with series of, personalities who may be sometimes known or unknown to the presidency, and by extension, his family. There were a lot of speculations. I am not banking on what I am hearing from the social media. I am saying this.
You cannot dismiss social media entirely as well, because as we sit here now, what you're discussing here is also going on social media.
Yes, it was. When I say the social media, we got the information or the whistleblowing.
The netizens.
Yeah, the whistleblowing came from social media to an individual.
Okay.
What is important? How do we correct the odds, the wrongs? How do we ensure that Sierra Leone's future is reshaped?
Okay. So
not only for its citizens.
From your example of the Chinese, is it the Chinese player, basketball, the player you mentioned?
He was playing. He must be an American.
So, like, Australia decided to, return him.
Yes.
Yeah, for the citizens.
For the interest of the
citizens. So, don't you think also that for the interests of Sierra Leoneans, in the name of rebranding Sierra Leone, that since this man has been, alleged that he is a drug baron, can't we just hand him over, just in a way that for the interest of Sierra Leone, to clean the name of Sierra Leone?
That was my expose.
Okay.
I drew the nexus between this current situation that is more topical to that of the Australian situation. So again, in the interests of the citizens, in the interests of the country, if we are to reshape the country and correct the odds, we have a responsibility, the government has a responsibility.
Okay.
The responsibility is this: the interest of the citizens taking primacy over the interest of an individual or few.
Okay.
Already, the first family has been brought to the Buhara, to this discourse, internationally and nationally. And on a daily basis, citizens does discuss this issue.
Okay.
What is important, I think we need to do the needful. Okay. And I'm happy that the...
So what is the needful?
If this young man is, this gentleman or this individual is in this country, let us follow the due process and hand him over to, the relevant authorities or to his country.
Okay.
But similarly so, it should be on the notion that, not on the notion, but we need to reiterate it and impress it in the minds of the Dutch government that an individual is residing in your country. This individual brought this country to a standstill on so many occasions. Economically, on security-wise, this individual contributed immensely in making sure that our children were denied access to education. The economy, came to a standstill for a period of time. We lose citizens, state security, individuals. So again, if we are going to broaden the discussion, let us don't forget also that they also have, an individual in their country residing and on a daily basis making incendiary, statements that are inimical even to the progress of the nation.
Okay,
so that should not.
So is Sierra Leone using that individual as a bait?
I did not say that. I did not. No, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. Maybe we did not cascade ours at international level.
Okay.
There has not been a time where the government of Sierra Leone or any individual will go on an international medium to say the Reuters, the BBC, the CNN, and every other, media, international media institutions. I don't think the Sierra Leone government or any individual or group of individuals have ever done that by going, internationally in terms of requesting this individual.
Okay.
There is a proverb that says, if you fail to clean your own backyard, another person will come and clean it for you. And if that person cleans it for you, it can be also detrimental to you.
Okay.
We did not do the needful. We just stopped at the diplomatic level. We did not go beyond that. We did not broaden the scope of discussion. We did not cascade our own situation to where the Dutch government and the other whistleblowers did take that conversation to.
But the minister, the minister just said it clearly that in extradition, the two nations have to, agree that this person committed a crime. And we have seen that drugs is something that is a crime almost everywhere. So the individual in question, have we checked whether what he is doing is a crime in the Dutch community?
Again, because the European Union wanted this man, because the Dutch government or Netherlands as a country wants this individual, and they have stated clearly that individual has committed murder, he has committed trafficking of drugs, and therefore he has been tried and convicted in absentia, because he wasn't on the soils of the Netherlands as at the time of his conviction. So it has been established. That is why they put it out on all the international media outlets. That individual in question is a criminal. And we are part of the global village. You talked of whether we are sure as to whether that young man or that individual has committed a crime. It has been established. What is now left with us? I think the Sierra Leone government is now thinking of, if and only if he is on the source of Sierra Leone, to see how best he could be able to file his, complaints or his case to the courts, and a judge will have to sit on it and then verify or substantiate his claim or disprove his claim. And upon approval, he will have to be extradited. But there are due processes. It is not just a matter of coming to grab the person and then send him to wherever he's being requested.
Okay, so another issue that...
But what I am saying is we have a responsibility. We cannot mortgage the integrity, the image, and the future of this country for an individual. That is why it is a crime call for right across the civil society landscape, right across the citizenry, that this individual, if and only if he is proven to be a convicted man, let's do the needful and extradite him.
Okay, we have also seen that the police have claimed that the Leijdekkers name is now, that picture we are seeing is now Umar Sharif, which is similar to a Sierra Leonean name, though it can also be attributed to where he claimed he came from, Turkey, since they are Muslims, so the name also can be Turkish as well. Yes. So don't that also raise some issues, saying that somebody is named differently in Holland and then also named differently in Sierra Leone, carrying the same, identity?
It is a normal norm. It has been happening. People have been changing their names. We have seen criminals and other, whether by birth, adoption purposes, either for fear of execution or fear of other security, concerns, criminalities. People have been changing their names. It can be genuine or otherwise, based on the intention. And then also, we have of course, thanks to technology, there are means, forensic means, that can prove if Daniel Esper was sitting here, has changed his name to Umar Sharif, as the case may be. Biometric forensic examinations can prove your real identity as to who you are. So it is not a complex situation. If Umar Sharif, which name has been affixed to this individual, is on the source of Sierra Leone, we can prove it by biometric or forensic or technological means to establish his true identity at the end of the day. So I will not see this as a kind of concern.
Okay.
If you say Daniel Espewa, it's not Daniel Espewa,
Okay.
and Daniel Espewa is caught at the end of the day, those technologies, HD, whatnot, can prove that indeed this is Daniel
Okay,
Espewa.
so as all this is going on, we have also seen Sierra Leone authorities, recently held a Dutch journalist. Is this all not part of, escalating issues, and then creating more blurry, situation on as the Dutch will look at Sierra Leone?
I will see it as a coincidence
Okay.
that a Dutch is spotted in Sierra Leone that has been a convicted individual, and then also, whilst the discourse is on, whilst international relation between the two countries is a little bit getting strained, and the same Dutch citizen is being apprehended for espionage and other related crimes that he was alleged of committing, that taking pictures or doing investigations, all the blah 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 around it. But thankfully, the police acted professionally. Of course, if the security force or apparatus is apprehensive of an individual, they deem his or her activities to be surreptitious, to be counterproductive, they have the right to. Even if it is an American citizen or a British citizen, they have the right to question him. And he was brought to the Criminal Investigations Department. She was questioned, and at the end of the day, they said nothing of security concern or nothing surrounding his interests of being here was counterproductive or in contraventions with the laws of Sierra Leone. So she has been released. So that is in itself shows
she was
how
released,
committed,
and then she has been called for a second questioning.
Well, I mean, so be it. Like I said, we don't take anything for granted in as much as it hinges on. It might be a coincidence. But that could have been an American citizen, that could have been a British citizen, and it could be any other citizen around the world.
Some people have raised concerns.
No, listen, that
Some
is
people
why
have
I
raised
said
concerns that this might happen simply because the officials are afraid that this lady is investigating issues relating to Leijdekkers.
Again, in the first or during the first investigation, she was, released. That's so. That her intentions, as at the time she was in, Sierra Leone, has nothing to do with any criminality or any, clandestine activity. So she was, released. And sometimes, when the police releases you, either from detention or from questioning, or you being under their, their lockup or what should I say now, under their supervision, what happens at the end of, if you are released, they will say, go and come back. We have said this. It is not a new, a phenomenon. It has been happening. That you will be called for questioning, you are released, but you will be asked to come again. I don't know how they call it. Extra contemporaneous, investigation or whatever. But again, what is important here is for us, the citizens, let us also think that Sierra Leone is the only place. If we damage, either because of our personal, interest, we damage Sierra Leone. Who suffers? The affluent, the economically affluent will not suffer. The politically connected will not suffer. The educationists, the academics will not suffer because they have a second chance or second countries to go and reside. You and I don't have that opportunity to go out. Even in Guinea, when we went there during the NPRC interregnum, when we went there, we saw exactly that what the Creole would say, the Englishman would say, no place like home. We saw the pitch of it, how we were treated. And also those, still residing in other countries, they will have to work hard. Here you can be here, I would say, let me go and visit my uncle Suma. Today I don't have anything. Let me go for
Donald Trump has already placed us on lists.
You understand? So these are some of the things. So again, let us don't be sensational in speculating, in reporting or assuming issues based on the divide or where you stand. Let us treat this issue nationalistically, with sense of patriotism and commitment, including love for Sierra Leone. Okay. But if we say because we want to score political, gains, or at the end of those political points, at the end of the day, we deflate the integrity of the country. It is you and I that suffers.
Okay. So thank you very much for that input. Now we take another story. The ban on commercial motorbike riders from plying many major streets in the central business district has sent shockwaves through the workforce and business community, leaving many to grapple with the repercussions of this sudden change. Many business people and students who depend on that mode of transportation to and fro their respective destinations have voiced the daily constraints. Joseph Adumamu has the details.
For countless individuals, motorbikes represent more than just a mode of transportation. They were a gateway to timely arrivals and productivity. Unlike traditional taxis and rickshaws, which often require multiple passengers and can't access narrower streets, motorbikes provide a crucial link to hard-to-reach locations.
I come from all the way Congo Cross, and that means I will have to onboard a minibus to Fire Force Junction and then onboard a motorbike which stops halfway to campus and delays me.
Time is of the essence for many people. The absence of motorbikes means longer wait times and potential belatedness, which can have cascading effects on their daily life activities. As the clock ticks, the pressure to arrive on time mounts.
I take back all the way from Wilkinson Road down to this place, and 8:30, lecturer said I should not go inside. Then you're expecting me now, okay, next time I should take cab when there is no cab for me to take down to this side. But that motorbike is more easy for me because when I take it, I might take it very early and I will get to class even before the lecturer. But
as the city seeks to recalibrate its transportation landscape, many are left to navigate this new reality without their once reliable ride.
I face beaucoup constraints, of course, I just can't just know.
I face a lot of challenges because I would have to walk long distances to get access to motorbikes. Tricycles do not access narrow roads, and so it's a big constraint for me.
It was way and don't stop at.
The impact of this ban extends beyond mere inconvenience. It reshapes daily routines and livelihoods, leaving the city in transition. Joseph Adumambu, AYV News, Freetown.
Yes, as you have seen that report from Joseph Adumambu, the ban on the commercial bike riders, on the central business district is a challenge to many people, trying to reach where you want to reach on time. What are your, thoughts on what authorities are doing in banning this one?
Again, I want to thank you for this opportunity in giving me my own, opinion, to state my own opinion on this. The Englishman would say necessary evil. The bike as riding as an industry, I will not call it profession, as an industry, has mitigated a lot of hardship in a lot of homes right across. It has helped a lot of citizens in gaining employment and making sure that food is put on their tables. The bike industry has also helped even the security apparatus in minimizing crime rates. Let's say, for instance, the number of bike riders, if they were sitting in different communities idly, that would have posed a lot of security challenges on us as a people. Let us don't forget that each bike being bought comes with an associated or additional revenue to the coffers of the country. When you go for license, insurance, these are all, monies paid with NRA, pittance or, taxes attached. The bike industry, from the security angle, I think we need to redefine their operations. Okay. We need to ensure that the bike riders are given the requisite training from the security sector. It's unfortunate that they are haphazardly distributed across the country. In fact, there are some, and I agree with the police, there are some, if we want to, even though the streets of Freetown, the streets of Freetown are littered with garbages, with fields, with, poor sanitary condition, surface waters all over the street, all over the places, water coming from, septic tank, all over. It is unsightly, and it is an eyesore for Sierra Leoneans when you want to refer to this, Freetown as a city in the modern days. Okay. So again, the police and its partners, the UNDP, that of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the entire security sector have a responsibility in making sure that they rebrand the bike riders. How would you be able to do that? Firstly, the dress code should be redefined. Okay. Thirdly, they should be, because in driving you have defensive driving. It is not just a matter of you running without giving recourse to other road users. And what we have seen over time is their sense of urgency. Their sense of urgency. They lack what we call patience. They don't have it at all. And this has caused a lot of innocent lives. This has, to be hacked at the end of the day. This has also resulted to a lot of injuries. I am a victim of bike, type of whatnot. So what is important, I think the police cannot do this alone. The Ministry of Social, how do you call it? Internal Affairs, the ONS, even the military, social security, labor should be on board this. Okay. In making sure that they train those guys on a daily basis. They give them a tag, they give them codes, they give them uniforms, so to speak, so that at the end of the day, your operations are guided. Okay. We have been deprived for me to come from my house to this place. Before now, I will leave my house and in record time, I will be here. Now I have to wait for keke and this place, except if you want to charter the keke. But without that, you will have to, pay. And you have to spend time. You have to, go through so many challenges to ensure that you are, at your place of work or other areas you want to go. The bike has mitigated, the movement of people when they were to spend longer time. And then, unfortunately, our streets are not only tight, but you show me how many streets are in Freetown without street traders, without tables. How many streets are in Freetown without stationary vehicles, abandoned vehicles? How many streets are in Freetown without garages? How many streets are in Freetown without potholes? So these are all also challenges. They are also encumbrances that we are facing as pedestrians, as commuters, or passengers, if you like. So what we are saying, the system needs to be clean, and it has to be overhauled. The streets needs to be clean, because if you are banning motorbike riding from the CBD, and those same streets are covered with petty traders, and those same streets are covered with garages, and those same streets are full of potholes, then you are also not doing justice to the motorists, to the bike riders, and to us, the pedestrians, and sometimes passengers. Okay. So what we are saying, the street needs to be, thankfully the police has embarked on clearing street garages. But it's not the first time. It is not a novelty. They have been engaged in that. And what is sad, it is when Daniel Espewa, as a police officer, goes to Mr. Suma's garage that is operating on the street, on one of the streets, as the case may be, and I want to forcefully remove those vehicles, including SLRSA, the garage owner or individuals in society will take phone and call either the hierarchy of the police or other state functionaries and tell them what they want to tell them. And in return, this police officer or this law enforcer will be reprimanded, if not, So it is embarrassing. Yeah. It also poses challenge on the operations of the security forces. So again, if the police has taken this other audacious step in making sure that those streets with abandoned vehicles, with garages, with petty traders, they are our mothers and sisters, uncles and brothers. But that does not give them the trump card to go and open a garage on the streets, thereby endangering the lives of innocent citizens. That does not warrant you to go and set a table. You go right across. Yes. And sadly, even the footpaths along those streets are open. The sewages are open. There are no slabs to cover those, drainages, so that pedestrians, even at night, because we don't have street lights, except for a few areas. But in the 99.9% of the streets in Freetown are without street light. So again, if you want to get rid of them, I don't think it is advisable to get rid of them entirely. What you do is for you to recalibrate their operations, their thinking, their mode of their conduct. That is to say, to make them hygienically, hygienic in the eyes of the public. That is one. Number two, you give them an identification number. So if Daniel Esther, who is riding a motorbike, come in contravention with the law, what you do is for you now to identify him by his number, so that at the end of it, and then also even arresting those motorbikes, keeping them in at the police stations, or taking them somewhere isolated does not add up, because when you deprive that person, at the end of the day, you the educationist will say an idle brain is the workshop, the devil's workshop. So that at the end of the day, he becomes an enemy to the state, to even the state and its citizens. So you give them a requisite training, mode of operations, how they should conduct themselves in the eyes of the public, even in the riding mode. Let them inculcate the sense of patience and respect for other road users, so that at the end of the day, you tailor their operations, you tailor their thinking, their mode of, the way they conduct themselves out there on the street is redefined. So what that means? It means that you now have intelligent, civilized, right thinking. Don't overlook those guys. Don't overlook their intelligence. Some are graduates. Some are responsible. In fact, some of us in civil society, we are so curious. Some will even tell you that I have built a house out of this. The old bike I used to have, I have given it either to my younger brother or to my friend, and I have bought this new one. I am riding it again. I have sent my children onto education and whatnot. All those ones are adding values to the system. But if you outright, and a lot of them will tell you that it is only within the CBD that we are able to realize, that we are able to generate the funds that is needed. But if you are sending us into those mountainous areas, the money is not there. So it is important that we have, a holistic consultation with development partners, UNDP as the case may be, and other interministerial, dialogue, so that we set a system that is not only safe and clean, but is also productive when it comes to,
since we don't have time anymore and you have to visit our sister station as well, so we stop here. We say thank you very much, and we know there are no bike riders going to SLBC, so we will not hold you for too long.
I'm going to take a care.
Yes, you see. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Weekend Review. We hope you found our discussions enlightening. A special thanks to our guest, Daniel Pewa, for sharing his valuable insights. I have been your presenter, Toloma Suma. We sure to tune in the next week as we continue to bring you in-depth analysis of the stories that matter. Until then, we say stay informed and take care of yourself.